National League East Flash Focus Preview. This is Deej. I'm here with my brother Smokey. What's up, Smokey?
Hey, how you doing, dude?
Doing all right. Smokey, challenge for you. Name 3 Miami Marlins not named Sandy Alcantara.
Uh, Connor Norby,
Okay.
um, Cal Quantrill, former
Oh,
Guardian,
good catch. Good catch. Look.
and I'm done.
Yeah. Who are these guys? All right. So here's the Marlins. This is a triple A team. I don't know who any of these guys are. I've heard about 5 of their names and couldn't. Griffin Conine, I believe, is Jeff Conine's son or nephew or something. God, this is just an absolute zero of a lineup. Xavier Edwards. Maybe I've heard of him. Maybe there's an NBA player with a similar name that I'm thinking of. I don't know. Maybe these guys are secretly good, but I can't see this as anything but the worst offense in the major leagues. What do you think of this?
I don't know who any of these guys are other than Connor Norby because he was on Baltimore.
Yeah.
Xavier Edwards came over from Tampa Bay. Yeah, I mean, if you look at these guys, it appears the only one that actually came up through their system is Nick Fortes, the catcher, and everyone else was acquired in a trade. So there's that. They're probably highly regarded. We just don't know who they are yet, other than
Yeah.
Connor Norby.
Yeah. I mean, you'd like to think they got some good prospects for all the, veterans they've traded away over the years. But yeah, this is the worst major league lineup I've seen in a very long time. I can't remember the last time I've looked at an entire major league lineup and couldn't tell you anything about any of them. This is just absolutely just Marlinsing like only the Marlins can. Just an absolute train wreck of a batting order here. All right, let's look at this rotation. It's Alcantara and Quantrill. And pray for rain. So Alcantara, of course, won the Cy Young Award a couple years ago. He was out with Tommy John or some other surgery, but he missed the whole season last year. He's back. I assume he'll be traded immediately as soon as he establishes, middling trade value. Cal Quantrill, longtime Guardian. I like Quantrill, the guy. He's a very frustrating pitcher because he doesn't really have any of the qualities you'd like to see out of a pitcher. He doesn't get strikeouts. He can overperform his FIP, but he might also just not. I don't know. He's like I want success for Quantrill, but he's a number 5 starter on most teams. Ryan Weathers had some success in the past with the Padres, but I don't know. Yeah, this is just the only good thing about this rotation is Alcantara, and I assume he's just going to get traded right away. So again, that means Cal Quantrill is your ace, which again, love Cal the guy, but that is not a recipe for losing fewer than 100 games. I don't know. Any words on this rotation, Smoke?
Nope. You hit the nail on the head. Alcantara, is he's a stud. When he's healthy, he's probably a top 10 pitcher in all of the majors. Quantrill, he showed some life last year in Colorado, and inexplicably, Colorado finished the season with him. Yeah, he's not that good. He's a 5th starter at best.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Yeah, man, rough. And then this bullpen, I've never heard of any of these. Connor Gillespie, he was on the Guardians last year. He threw like 3 innings. I've heard of Andrew Nardi. I don't know. Who the heck are these guys? Bullpen that I can't speak to. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't recognize anybody other than Gillespie.
Yeah. All right, let's. How many wins are you thinking for these Miami Marlins of 2025?
They are going to be bad. I will go with 52, 5-2 wins.
52, 110 losses. Yeah, that feels about right. They lost 100 games last year, and they traded away Jake Berger and Jazz Chisholm, the only things remotely resembling established good players.
And Jesus Luzardo.
Yeah, and Luzardo. They are getting Alcantara back, but again, he seems like he is a prime trade candidate as soon as he, shows that he can, pull his weight as a remotely decent starter. Yeah, I'll take the over on that and go with 53 wins, but yeah, they're going to lose about 110 games. All right, let's take a look at the Nats. So one thing I like about the NL East is I feel like the Nats, Braves, Mets, and Phillies kind of have like an equal four-way rivalry. They all just kind of hate each other equally. There's no directionality like in the AL East where everybody hates the Yankees and the Yankees only really care about the Red Sox. This is probably my favorite division in terms of rivalry. It's just kind of like these other four teams, and then the Marlins are the forgotten teal-headed stepchild. But all right, let's take a look at these Nationals. They got Wood out there and left, the hyped prospect. Alex Call, one-time Guardian, looking like a decent bench player. Cal Abrams, he's going to be good. A terrific shortstop there. Paul DeYoung, the veteran shortstop at third. He can pop some dingers and contribute a slick glove. Garcia Jr. They got Nate Lowe from the Rangers. He's decent. Doesn't hit for quite as much power as you'd like a first baseman to, but I think he can be a decent middle of the order bat. Keibert Ruiz, decent catcher back there. Josh Bell, another Guardian, one time at DH. They have a few good players here. Like Abrams is good. Lowe and Bell have, are veterans who have had some decent seasons in the past. DeYoung too. This is definitely not a good lineup though. If I'm going on an 80 grade scale, this is 40-ish. I don't think they're going to score very many runs, and they're not very deep bench wise. Oh, Ahmed Rosario, another former Guardian. Wow, and Jose Tena. There's like 5 Guardians on this team. Wow.
Josh
Bell, yeah, all guys I like and wish success for, but not really thinking much of this lineup at all. I think they're going to finish bottom 5 in runs scored. What do you think? Are you any more optimistic than I am?
They're basically like a not cheap version of the Marlins.
Yeah.
Except they don't have Alcantara. I mean, they tried, They got DeYoung, they got Josh Bell, they went out and got Lowe, and then they got a bunch of prospects, But they have more recognizable names with Abrams, Cruz, Wood. They seem like Keibert Ruiz came over from the Dodgers. He was highly regarded. I've heard these names of these prospects. They've been bantered about. This is the year. It's kind of a put up or shut up year for the Nationals in terms of their batting order. These guys need to take a step, and I think some of them will, some of them may not.
Yeah, they do have 3 or 4 good hitters in here, but just not enough to support them to really do much. I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty bad. All right, let's look at this rotation. They finally cut Patrick Corbin, just one of the absolute worst contracts ever. Like he led the league in everything bad. He just like the worst WAR and the most losses and the highest ERA. God, So I feel like just getting rid of Corbin is addition by subtraction in a lot of ways. But having said that, Gore, Jake Irvin, Williams, like 2 or 3 guys that might be good. None of these guys have, had so much as one full good season in their career. It's hard to predict very many good things from this rotation. It's bad. I don't think much of this rotation at all. What do you think, Smokey?
They're not good and they're not deep. It's gonna be a rough year. They're gonna give up a lot of runs.
Yeah, and they're not gonna score a lot of runs. So yeah. And then, yeah, looking at this bullpen, Finnegan, very good veteran reliever. A couple other guys you recognize, like Colin Poche. Again, this is a weaker bullpen with a couple pretty good guys in it, but not enough to, support them. Yeah, any words on the bullpen?
Not very inspiring. They lost Harvey from last year.
Right.
They brought Finnegan back because they needed someone to close. He was on my fantasy baseball team. He blows some and he saves most. Not terribly impressive. This bullpen's not going to be good.
Yeah, I mean Finnegan's a decent piece, but he's like when he's your relief ace. Again, not a recipe for winning games. So, all right, how many victories for these Washington Nationals are you thinking?
I think they're actually, they're better than Miami, but not by much. I give them 71.
71. So you think they'll stay? Yeah, I mean they are better than the Marlins, so they're gonna get a lot of those Marlins losses as wins. But they're gonna lose at least 90 games. I'll go ahead and say 70 wins. I'll take the under on that. I think they're also going to be quite awful. All right, now let's move on to a team that is not awful: the Philadelphia Phillies. This might be one of the most stacked lineups there is. You got somebody who can either like field or hit. One of the best guys at their position. JT Realmuto, low-key potential future Hall of Famer, one of the best catchers there is right now. Bryce Harper, super duper star. Stott and Bohm, steady eddies there around the infield. Trey Turner, terrific shortstop. Castellanos, very good hitter, very bad fielder. Max Kepler, longtime Twin, should be pretty good. Brandon Marsh, he's a good guy. Schwarber, DH. This is definitely one of the best lineups. They're going to score. I don't think they're as good as the Diamondbacks or Dodgers, but they're definitely a top 5 in runs scored for sure. I don't really see any weaknesses. Their only real weakness is defense, I would say, especially in the outfield. Although Kepler is going to help out there. But yeah, I like this lineup in terms of run scoring, not so much defense. Any words on the Phillies batting order?
Yeah, they've got a lot of really good veterans. They've got some pop. They've got some on-base abilities. The one thing that I notice as I start to look at this, the age, they're kind of getting old.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are, hitting the mid-30s.
Realmuto's 34, Kepler's 32, Castellanos is 33.
Lots of 92. Yeah, lots of 92 and 93 birthdays here, so 32, 33.
Yeah, watch out for the injuries, like that's something that you got to keep an eye on. Really good lineup. And once you get into the bench, you're looking at Rafael Marchand, Edmundo Sosa, Cody Clemens, Johan Rojas, younger guys, not very good. They're not very deep. So they got old guys that are starters, good players, but if they start taking on water, it's not a very deep team.
Yeah, they can. They got enough stars they could handle like 2 key injuries and be okay. But what team can withstand 3+ key players? So yeah, I definitely. All that to say, I like this lineup a lot. It's going to be good. Now this rotation, I might even like the rotation more than the lineup. Like Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, that's like a 1-2 veteran punch right there. Bam, bam. Like game 1 and game 2, game over. Then Christopher Sanchez came out of nowhere last year to have a great season. They picked up Luzardo, terrific Marlin. Hopefully we can see what he can do outside of out of Miami. Ranger Suarez, another very good starting pitcher. This is top to bottom. This could be the best starting rotation outside of the Dodgers in the big leagues. I like this rotation a lot. As long as, and even in some depth. Taijuan Walker is a decent veteran starter. So yeah, I like this rotation a lot. What do you think?
Yeah, and don't forget about the rookie that seems to have been around forever, Andrew Painter.
Yeah.
He's supposed to make an appearance this year. It's really good. Yeah, it's right up there with the Dodgers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Just it's really good rotation, really deep. They got extra arms in case guys go down. I would feel really good going into the season with this rotation.
Yeah, man, this rotation, if they don't go deep in the playoffs, it will not be because of this rotation. Let's just say that. All right, let's take a look at this bullpen. They did lose Jeff Hoffman last year, which is tough, but it's still pretty good. They got Jordan Romano from the Blue Jays. He was kind of struggling. We'll see what he can do, but he certainly has a lot of upside. Ryan Kirkering, their homegrown guy that they like a lot. Alvarado, Matt Strom, some good veterans. I would say the bullpen is definitely not nearly as good as their rotation or batting order, but it's definitely okay. And again, when you have guys like Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola who can pitch 7-8 innings, you don't need the best bullpen in the universe. I don't know. But what do you think about this bullpen, Smokey?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be nitpicky, like this is their weakness. Um, this is probably the spot where they could pick up a couple more guys, maybe at the trade deadline. But yeah, it's average. I mean, Jordan Romano might, be the closer. He was not impressive with Toronto last year. He's injured a lot. Matt Strom went down with an injury. He's not starting a year. He's an above average pitcher. Yes, I mean, it's not deep and it's not impressive. But like you said, their rotation is one of the best in the majors, one of the deepest in the majors. So yeah, they could probably get away with not having the greatest bullpen.
All right, so how many wins for these Phillies? What are you thinking? 95 last year.
I give them 92.
92.
I think they do take on some injuries, and I think this might be the year that they take on a little water.
I'm more optimistic than you. Like, they get to beat up on the Marlins and Nats, and they're great. It is going to be tough to, beat the Braves and Mets, who are also very good teams. But I definitely see this as the best team in the NL East. I would pick them to finish in first place. I'm going to go ahead and give them 98 wins. I think they're going to be one of the best teams this year. All right, let's take a look at the Atlanta Braves, another team with a batting order that just does not quit. They have I believe, almost all these guys, if not literally all of them, have started an all-star game at some point, or at least made an all-star team. Just looking at it, Profar almost won the MVP last year. Michael Harris, their young stud. Ronald Acuna, like Hall of Fame good, and he's only 26 or something. Ozzy Albies is a very good second baseman. Check out Ozzy Albies' YouTube channel. He owns a bunch of fish, and he has like an aquarium channel, and he's just talking about fish in aquariums, and he's actually really into it and knows his stuff. So anyway, check out Ozzy Albies' aquarium channel. Anyway, Matt Olson hit 50 dingers a couple years ago. Riley, terrific third baseman, big power. Sean Murphy's been injured a lot lately, but he's one of the best catchers when he's healthy. Arcia, I believe he did make the All-Star team a couple years ago. He's probably, the 9-hitter on this team, but certainly a very good worst player to have. And then, Kellenick, who knows what he'll be doing. Brian Delacruz, one of the Marlins I could have named from last year. Marcelo Ozuna, sorry. One of the best DHs there is. Man, this is another candidate for best batting order. It's not super deep, but it doesn't really need to be because these are all everyday type guys. This is definitely going to be a top 5 run scoring factory right here, as long as everyone can stay healthy, which is a big question mark. What do you think about this batting order?
I find it very impressive. And that, looking at it without Sean Murphy and Ronald Acuna Jr. coming back, in the first month or two of the season, they got to come out strong, but they still have a lot of really good hitters. and they're younger, so hopefully they can stay healthy and withstand the injuries. And it's a very intimidating lineup. It doesn't quit. It doesn't stop. Um, they have a lot of young kids constantly coming up. Um, Drake Baldwin is probably going to get a look early, and you've got they're in really good shape.
Yeah. And man, their rotation is just as good. Chris Sale won the Cy Young. Ronaldo Lopez came out of nowhere. He was a reliever, a good but not great reliever. All of a sudden, he's putting up like Cy Young ballot seasons. Spencer Strider coming back. He's also a potential Cy Young candidate if he's healthy. The other Spencer S. Schwellenbach looked pretty good last year too. Ian Anderson. A lot of people think he can be pretty good. So obviously that 1-2-3 of Sale, Strider, and Lopez can be, like they could finish 1-2-3 in the Cy Young voting. It's a little weak after that. I'm not sure I love their depth, but with Sale, Lopez, and Strider potentially playing a full season altogether, who needs depth? I don't know. What do you think of this rotation?
Yeah, those front three are going to be really good. I would not want to face them in the playoffs. They're going to get Strider into the season, so they'll get some improvement as the season goes on. Keep an eye on young prospect AJ Smith-Shawyer. He's up and coming. He's supposed to be really good. There's a little concern after Sale, Ronaldo Lopez, and Strider. They lost Max Fried, so that's a tough loss. But I still think they're kind of a pitching factory. They can crank them out, and I think they'll do a great job with young pitchers should they need to. And combine that lineup and that rotation, and that's an intimidating team.
Yeah, so looking at the bullpen, a similar story to the Phillies. They certainly have some very good pitchers here. Raisel Iglesias, a longtime successful closer, Neris, Diekman, David Hernandez. Certainly some very good. Aaron Bummer, another good veteran. They got a lot of big names. Some guys that have kind of struggled the last few years, but they certainly have some very good relievers. Again, this is not their strong point. I wouldn't call it. It's nowhere near as good as their rotation or batting order is, but it's good enough. And again, when you have guys like Sale and Lopez and Strider who can go deep into games, you don't need the best bullpen in the universe. You can kind of take a hit there. What do you think of this bullpen?
I think it's average. Iglesias, I've had him on my fantasy team. He's average. He's not what he was when he was younger, and he gets the job done.
Yeah.
And otherwise, not terribly deep. They've got Joe Jimenez on the injured list right now. He'll come back at some point. Hector Neris has some saves. Aaron Bummer's a good lefty, but other than that, not intimidating. I think they'll be average.
Yeah. All right. How many wins will these Braves win?
I think they'll win 94.
94. Yeah, they seem almost as good as the Phillies, but not quite. I'll give them 95 wins. I think they'll finish close to the top, but not quite as good as the Phillies. And they do need luck with injuries because they have been really hit hard with injuries the last couple of years, and things just have to swing back in their way. All right, finally, but not least, the Mets. The Mets have been writing checks lately. They just picked up Juan Soto. Man, he's worth 10 wins all by himself. Like, he will literally have 8 to 10 WAR. And man, this batting order is also one of the best. They got future Hall of Famer and Lindor, a couple, team Hall of Fame caliber guys like Alonso and Nimmo. They picked up Jose Siri to play center. Jesse Winker is going to be the DH. They still have Starling Marte, although he's kind of fading, I think. Matt Vientos kind of came out of nowhere last year, hit 27 or 28 dingers, looked really good. We'll see if he can keep it up. Alvarez, a very good young catcher. I believe he's injured and going to miss the start of the season, but he could be pretty good too. Overall, man, just like that Juan Soto, he's like three good hitters all by himself. I think if you have Lindor, Alonso, and Soto hitting back to back to back, like that's gonna get you a whole lot of runs. It's not quite as deep as the Phillies or Braves or some, series not a hugely good hitter. McNeil's been injured a lot lately. Vientos might or might not be able to keep it up. Winker is good, not great at DH. There's no blazing holes, but there's maybe some weak spots. I don't know. What do you think of this lineup?
It's really good, and it's actually banged up right now. I mean, I cannot think of four more intimidating hitters than Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, Pete Alonso, and Mark Vientos. I mean, just starting the lineup with that. And, you have guys on the injured list. You have Francisco Alvarez on the injured list, and Jeff McNeil is super pesky, and Brandon Nimmo is hurt. They're just super banged up right now. But, Nimmo, not that long ago, was a really, really good player. I feel like they're going to score a ton of runs.
Yeah, their bench is not awful. They got some decent backup there, but yeah, it's an excellent lineup, very top heavy with Soto, Lindor at all, but definitely going to score a lot of runs. Hope they can stay healthy. All right, this rotation, the Mets have kind of had a patchwork rotation the last few years. It seems to be like just a bunch of number threes from random teams every year. He's a good pitcher. He's a number three. Senga looked really good last year. We'll see if he can repeat it. Peterson, I believe, is the only homegrown guy here. Clay Holmes, the longtime Yankees closer, is now the Mets starting pitcher, and they think he can do good. Frankie Montas is another guy that's, was playing on bad teams for a while, and they kind of wanted to get him over to a good team and see what he could do. He certainly has the potential to be good, but he's not going to be an ace or anything. Same with Blackburn, Griffin Canning, Tyler McGill. Yeah, basically, this is just, hey, let's get like 7 or 8 number threes and good things will happen. And you know what? They might not be wrong. I think that if you have this many guys who are good, not great, it can shake out to be a decent rotation. But again, there's no ace here anymore. There's no Zach Wheeler, there's no Chris Sale type guy. No one's even close. But you have some good veterans who can throw a lot of innings and keep their ERA under 4. So I like this rotation, but it's definitely not their strength. What do you think about this rotation?
I think it's going to go as Kodai Senga goes. I mean, the Japanese import, he had shoulder issues last year. He throws a lot of filthy pitches. I mean, oh my goodness, he is fun to watch. Shohei Ohtani and Yamamoto and Roki Sasaki, they get all the thunder. But when Kodai Senga comes back, they'll be talking about his stuff too. I think the rotation goes as he goes. You mentioned Manea out with an injury, Frankie Montas out with an injury. So we got to kind of see what Peterson, Clay Holmes. One guy I really like is Tyler Mego. I watched him. He's pretty filthy. He's got some really good stuff. He held the Guardians in check when we played against him. He's got some really good movement. Griffin Canning as a number 5. I don't feel great about that. And then after him, I guess Paul Blackburn, the import from Oakland. It doesn't instill a lot of confidence to start the year. Hopefully Sean Manaea can come back quickly and take over for Griffin Canning, but it's not their strong point.
Yeah, and taking a look at their bullpen, it's not an awful bullpen. Edwin Diaz, AJ Minter, Ryan Stanek, all established veterans who have had excellent seasons in the past. They're all starting to get into their early to mid-30s, so hopefully they can keep it up and stay on the field. it's man, this is not a this is an average bullpen, I'd say, with a high upside. They got 3 or 4 guys who have the potential to be relief aces, but some injuries and some age and some inconsistency in the past. I'll call it an average bullpen, and I also don't think they can get away with an average bullpen the way some other teams can because the rotation, they don't really have guys who go deep into games that can kind of bail out the bullpen, when they struggle. I'm a little concerned about the rotation and bullpen as a group. I think the pitching staff is not set up as well as it needs to be. Again, it's not terrible. They got a lot of decent players. They got some depth, but I see it as a weakness. What do you think about this bullpen?
Yeah, I mean it's average. Diaz was dominant. He had an injury. Minter, Buto, they're okay. They're not elite. It's just average.
Yeah. So I see the Mets as a very good team with some potential weaknesses. So how many wins are you thinking for these Metsies?
I think they'll win 93.
93. Yeah, that's a good guess. They feel like a wild card team. I'll take the under on that. I think it's unlikely to have 3 teams in the division winning 93 games. I'll give them 91 wins. I think they're definitely wild card caliber. I don't think they're going to win the division. Definitely see it as a really fun season coming up. There's a lot of good teams, a lot of bad teams in this division. You can see some really cool stuff. All right, well, that wraps up our series on divisional previews. Just take a peek, give us a like, comment, subscribe. Smokey, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon.